On June 29, 2025, the world awoke to what seemed like just another peaceful Sunday. The city was still, the sun rising gently over Washington, D.C., and most Americans were easing into their morning routines, unaware that the calm was about to be shattered in spectacular fashion. Suddenly, millions of phones buzzed with a digital outburst from Donald Trump, a man never far from controversy or the spotlight. From the gilded halls of Mar-a-Lago, Trump unleashed a furious tweet storm, this time targeting Amazon for its decision to relocate its headquarters. The tweets came fast and furious, each one more incendiary than the last. He didn't just criticize the move, he called it treasonous, blasting Amazon for what he described as a betrayal of American values in favor of globalist dreams. The word treasonous, in all caps, echoed across social media, instantly trending worldwide. The tweet was classic Trump, loud, dramatic, and perfectly calibrated to ignite his base. His supporters rallied online, echoing his outrage and amplifying his message across every platform. For Trump, this wasn't just about business or politics. It was personal. He saw Amazon's move as a direct challenge to his America First vision, a slap in the face to everything he claimed to stand for. The anger in his tweets was palpable, his sense of betrayal unmistakable. Newsrooms across the country scrambled to keep up, anchors interrupted regular programming, analysts debated the implications, and commentators speculated wildly. Was this just another Trump rant, or the opening salvo in a much larger conflict? Headlines blared about chaos and uncertainty. Social media exploded with hot takes and memes, while news tickers updated by the minute. The answer soon became clear. This was no ordinary outburst. It was the opening act of a week that would plunge Washington into turmoil. Trump's tweet was more than just a venting of frustration. It was a signal to his allies and adversaries alike. From now on, policy would be dictated by outrage, not careful strategy. The rules of engagement had changed overnight. In today's hyper-connected world, a single tweet can hit like a wrecking ball, especially when it comes from someone who thrives on disruption and chaos. The boundaries between social media and real-world consequences blurred instantly. The tantrum had begun and the fallout was immediate. Markets trembled, politicians scrambled, and ordinary Americans braced for impact. The shockwaves rippled far beyond the digital world, touching every corner of the nation. The stage was set for a political storm unlike any seen before, a week where every tweet, every headline, and every reaction would shape the course of history. So, what did Amazon actually do? In a move that sent shockwaves through the business world, Amazon made a decision that would reshape its global identity and spark a heated debate across two continents. They moved their headquarters, from the US to London. This wasn't just a change of address, it was a bold leap across the Atlantic, signaling a new era for the tech giant. The move was meticulously planned, involving months of confidential meetings, logistical challenges, and strategic negotiations with both American and British officials. The reason? To tap into Europe's talent and global finance, and to become a truly international company. London, with its vibrant financial sector and diverse workforce, offered Amazon access to new markets, innovative thinkers, and a gateway to the rest of the world. The company wanted to position itself at the crossroads of global commerce, ready to adapt to shifting economic landscapes and regulatory environments. Their press release was all about synergy and growth, promising U.S. operations would remain strong. Amazon's leadership emphasized that this was not a retreat, but an expansion, an opportunity to build bridges, not burn them. They highlighted plans to invest in both American and European markets, reassuring stakeholders that the company's roots in the U.S. would remain deep. To Amazon, it was a logical business move, not a political statement. The decision was driven by data, market trends, and the desire to stay ahead in a fiercely competitive industry. Executives saw it as a necessary evolution, a way to future-proof the company against uncertainty. But in Trump's world, every corporate decision is a test of loyalty. The former president viewed Amazon's move through a political lens, interpreting it as a challenge to his America First philosophy and a personal affront to his administration's efforts to keep jobs and investment on U.S. soil. Amazon's move was seen as desertion, a slap in the face to America. For many, it felt like a betrayal, a symbol of corporate greed and global ambition overtaking national loyalty. Workers and politicians alike questioned the company's commitment to American communities. For Trump, who built his brand on keeping companies in the U.S., This was the ultimate insult. He wasted no time making his feelings known, rallying supporters and calling out Amazon in speeches and on social media, framing the move as a direct attack on American values. The company insisted it wasn't abandoning America, just expanding. Spokespeople pointed to ongoing investments, job creation, and community programs in the U.S., hoping to calm the storm of criticism and prove their commitment to both sides of the Atlantic. But the political drama was set, a corporate giant versus a political heavyweight. The headlines wrote themselves and the public watched as two titans clashed over the future of American business and global leadership. Boardroom logic had collided with presidential ego. The clash was inevitable. Behind closed doors, executives debated strategy while politicians plotted their next moves, each side convinced they were fighting for the greater good. And it was about to get ugly. The stage was set for a showdown that would test the limits of business, politics, and national identity, one that would leave a lasting mark on both Amazon and America. Trump's fury wasn't just about Amazon's move, it was personal. His feud with Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and owner of the Washington Post, had simmered for years. Trump accused Amazon of dodging taxes, exploiting the postal service, and crushing small businesses. But his real anger was aimed at Bezos, whom he saw as a political enemy. In Trump's mind, every Amazon action was a headline in the Post, a direct attack on him. The London move confirmed his suspicions. Amazon wasn't loyal to America. It fit perfectly into his narrative of betrayal by corporate elites. This wasn't just policy, it was payback. When Trump feels wronged, he doesn't hold back. And this time he was ready to use every tool at his disposal. Enter tariffs, a government's tax on imported goods. These taxes are added at the border, quietly tacked onto the price of everything from electronics to clothing, cars to coffee beans. Most people never see the paperwork, but the effects ripple through the entire economy, touching every shelf and every wallet. Tariffs are meant to protect local industries or raise revenue, but they're a blunt tool. The idea is simple: make imported goods pricier, so homegrown products look like a better deal. Governments have used tariffs for centuries, hoping to shield their own workers and companies from foreign competition or to fill their coffers. They can make foreign products more expensive, hoping you'll buy local instead. Suddenly, that imported gadget or specialty food costs a little, or a lot, more. The hope is that you'll reach for the local alternative, keeping money and jobs at home. But they also raise prices for consumers and disrupt businesses. Small shops and big companies alike can get caught in the crossfire, forced to pay more for parts or products they need. For families, it means stretching every dollar a little further at the checkout line. Trump saw tariffs as a weapon, not just policy, a way to punish those he felt betrayed America. For him, tariffs weren't just about economics, they were about sending a message, flexing American muscle on the world stage. After his Amazon tirade, he threatened tariffs left and right. Tweets flew, headlines blared, and the world watched as the U.S. government rattled its economic saber, targeting not just rivals but sometimes allies too. But tariffs aren't precise. They're more like grenades than lasers. They explode across industries, not just hitting the intended target, but causing collateral damage to everyone nearby. When thrown, you never know who'll get hit. The impact can be unpredictable, with some businesses scrambling to adapt, others blindsided by costs they never saw coming. In the days after his digital war declaration, Trump started pulling pins on multiple tariff threats. Each new announcement sent shockwaves through boardrooms, trading floors, and kitchen tables alike. The result? Widespread confusion and economic anxiety. Markets tumbled, businesses hesitated, and families wondered what would get more expensive next. Tariffs can protect, but they can also backfire. Sometimes the shield meant to defend local jobs ends up breaking under the pressure, leaving businesses exposed and vulnerable. Trump was ready to use them as a show of force. For him, tariffs were a symbol of strength, a way to prove America wouldn't back down, even if it meant taking risks at home. The economic fallout was just beginning. As the dust settled, communities braced for impact, uncertain how deep the damage would go, and no one was safe from the shrapnel. In the world of tariffs, everyone, consumers, workers, and business owners, can end up paying the price. Trump's threats quickly turned into chaos. The administration floated a tech betrayal tariff on electronics made by companies with foreign headquarters. The details were vague, but the panic was real. Tech giants scrambled, markets wobbled, Every day brought new rumors, tariffs on laptops, then maybe not, then maybe again. Uncertainty poisoned the global economy, businesses couldn't plan, prices started to rise. Trump even threatened tariffs on British goods, cars, whiskey, dragging the UK into the mess. The tariff tornado had begun, with policy made by tweet and mood swings. The global trading system was shaken, all because of one man's vendetta. Confusion wasn't a side effect, it was the point. All this drama might seem distant, but it hit ordinary people fast. Retailers fearing tariffs quietly raised prices on electronics. That laptop you wanted? Suddenly more expensive. Companies relying on global supply chains panicked, costs rose, uncertainty spread. Tariffs meant to punish one country or company ended up raising prices everywhere. Jobs were at risk, small businesses faced skyrocketing costs, some shut down. American farmers lost customers abroad as trade partners retaliated. Tariffs, sold as patriotic, often act as a tax on citizens. Everyday goods got pricier, investments stalled, and jobs disappeared. The political spectacle was paid for by everyone else. The cost of a tantrum, 1,000 tiny cuts to your wallet, and the pain was just beginning. Lost in the headlines were the businesses caught in the crossfire. A British software firm using Amazon Web Services suddenly faced uncertainty. Would U.S. sanctions disrupt their operations? A North Carolina furniture maker importing wood from Europe and exporting tables to the UK was hit on both ends by tariffs. Planning became impossible, investment froze. Small and medium businesses without Amazon's resources were the most vulnerable. The tariff tornado punished everyone, not just its intended target. Trade policy as retribution is a cluster bomb, shrapnel hits everyone nearby. The forgotten casualties were the ones who never asked for this fight. The economic mess was bad, but the political fallout was worse. Trump's base cheered, but many conservatives and progressives alike were horrified by the abuse of power. Old alliances fractured, new ones formed, free traders and progressives united against the chaos. America's reputation as a reliable partner took a hit. Allies like the UK were baffled and angry. If policy can change on a whim, how can anyone trust U.S. commitments? The crisis was self-inflicted. Ego and outrage trumped principle and stability. The world saw not strength but instability. The damage went far beyond angry headlines. In hindsight, it's wild how one corporate move spiraled into global chaos. Amazon's decision in any other era would have been a footnote, but Trump's outrage turned it into a political crisis. Tweets became threats, threats became policy, and uncertainty spread. Businesses froze, prices rose, and markets trembled. The chaos was intentional, a show of power, but at a huge cost. The lesson? In our connected world, a personal grudge can become global policy overnight. The systems we rely on are fragile, easily disrupted by ego and impulse. Trump's fury over Amazon is a cautionary tale. One domino, pushed by anger, can topple the whole line. And it's everyone else who's left to pick up the pieces.